exactly how to script out YouTube ads for your team or brokerage to bring in more seller and listing appointments for you and the team. Now, I see a lot of teams and brokerages really overcomplicate this. They try to, reinvent the wheel, make some crazy Super Bowl style TV advertisement. It really doesn't have to be that complicated. In fact, my very first tip, and this is the one that this is the actually the step-by-step process that we take when we work with brokers and teams, is to steal like an artist. This is actually based on one of my favorite books by the same name here as well. But basically, what I mean by that is use what's working and what other teams and brokerages and agents are doing to get initial inspiration. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There are amazing tools out there by the platforms themselves to see what other companies and brokerages are doing successfully when running campaigns. The key thing to look for is longevity. How long has an agent or brokerage been running a specific campaign for? How much have they been spending? And you want to basically pay attention to very specific things. For example, how their hooks are structured, how their body is, and we'll kind of go into a bit more detail like that in a second. But there are some great tools. The Google Ads Transparency Library, you'll be able to see Google, PPC, and also YouTube ads. The Facebook ad library is amazing for seeing inspiration as well because you can cross-reference and make videos based on that. Or other specific platforms like ytads.com or youtubeads.com. And there are some other niche ones as well from there. To give you an example of this, right? For example, this is the Google Ads Transparency Library. What you can do is, and is the way to search for it, make a separate video about it, basically search up different domains and different other marketers and realtors who are running YouTube and Google ads. And you can actually click through and watch all of these and get really amazing inspiration from there. And again, you can see the ones that have been running for quite some time now. What I recommend doing is basically creating some sort of a document or a resource for yourself where you can actually find and script out and transcribe all the ads. This is going to be extremely helpful going into the later step when we're creating, our variations and our different different hooks and different bodies to get different kinds of angles for our ads and reach different pockets of the market. So what I recommend doing is basically, again, finding them on the website, the Google Ads Transparency, ytads.com is another one as well. Putting them on a document and just getting organized just to get some inspiration going and get your mind flowing with some different ads there as well. Once you find that, what I would recommend doing is structuring your ads using the PSCTA framework. Now, this is a framework that I just invented right before making this video, which is the problem solution call to action framework. In a nutshell, this is a great way, a really proven and no-brainer way of structuring a YouTube ad script to agitate someone's problems, so a homeowner's problems, give them a really good solution, and tell them how to get it. In marketing and sales in general, this is the cornerstone, the foundation of how to run effective ads and marketing campaigns is like that. So to give you an understanding, give you an example, if we're looking at problems for a seller, there is confusion in the market, works for buyers as well. I'm not really sure where to spend and money on upgrades and repairs. How do I choose a realtor to sell my home with? Am I leaving money on the table? You can get the idea. You can use AI to come up with more ideas as well. Solutions, there are so many different kinds of offers and solutions and different things that you can provide as value adds for homeowners. Free home evaluations is a big one that we can use and leverage a lot. Key thing on that is to make sure to differentiate between an automated valuation versus a custom valuation, which is a huge value add for people. Ebooks, guides, video trainings, even free consultations like staging consultations that eventually lead into listing consultations are awesome avenues to really bring in more, leads and more business and more listing appointments in the long term. Call to action, really simple. An example is click the learn more button below and answer a few quick questions about your home, and then we'll send you over your free guide or your free home evaluation. That's really the general framework for it. There is also some really amazing templates that you can use. For example, this is from Brian Moncada, which is actually a coaching consulting agency where they do a very deep dive into each seller in this case, how their actual problems are perceived, what their dream state is, what their goals are, who their ideal customer is, all these things. So the biggest thing that I want to kind of wrap on this point is you want to know your ICP and you want to know what kind of problems and solutions they would like to, or that they feel and that they would like to face. And then how you can position yourself uniquely, but also using a proven framework and messaging to stand out in the market. Really quick, if you are a team or brokerage looking to scale using the power of YouTube ads, click the first link in the description. We're going to go into the next point, which is iterate the scripting using AI. This is the fun and easy part. Claude and ChatGPT are your best friends and best bets with this. What I would do is I would script out the YouTube ads, start with the initial set of hooks and bodies. So again, hooks are the 5 to 10-second intros of the video, and then the bodies are kind of like the meat and potatoes of it, so to speak. And then I would use AI to basically iterate and create multiple different variations of those scripts. So as a really simple example, just kind of screen grabbed one of my recent Claude searches. I took this scripting, Aurora homeowners, and actually had Claude create multiple different variations of it. What it will do is it actually categorize it based on different aspects like fear, scarcity, urgency, pricing, timing, renovation, staging. So there's all these different kinds of angles that it can take. And again, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Just use the tools that are out there to your advantage to really gain an upper edge and have as many variations as possible. And again, we're going to talk about important reminders in a second here, but the hooks are going to be the main part that you really want to be split testing as you go along. Last but not least, some important reminders. Remember the goal, right? I speak to a lot of teams and brokers who they have potentially conflicting goals when it comes to how they want to run YouTube ads. The reason why I say that is because let's just say you want to run an ad specifically to generate more listing appointments, generate more seller leads for you and your team. The messaging in that is going to be different than just having, for example, like a virtual billboard that's just used as promotion for the team. So that's going to be a completely different angle. And of course, there are some overlapping that can happen with that. But by and large, using some of these frameworks like, the CTA, the PSCTA framework, like this is going to be your best bet, right? It's not to say that a seller, for example, doesn't care about who you are, but they just want to hear what they need to hear. And you can be the bridge to really give them that insight, right? And that brings to the next point. Understand that this is all human psychology. Running ads is not rocket science, but it's vitally important to look and analyze them from the perspective of a homeowner as a client as opposed to you, right? That's because realtors and myself, marketers included, have seen tons of ads in marketing. And so, yes, it might appear a bit cringy. It might appear a bit out of place. It might not resonate with you specifically, but then keep in mind the kinds of people who are going to be watching it, especially when running the ads in the right way. It's going to be people who have been actively searching for wanting to sell their home. They've tried to sell their home. Maybe they're already listed and they're frustrated. They're trying to sell their home for months and months. Are those people going to resonate? That's the question you want to ask yourself when you look at the ads yourself. Look at it from an objective point of view. Have a long-term view and be ready to make changes, right? Just to give you an idea, we're spending about $20,000 per month running YouTube ads on behalf of our teams and brokers and agents. And we have had to make tons and tons of iterations to our scripting. In fact, essentially every 4 to 6 weeks, we're making changes to our hooks, making changes to our bodies, not to mention the landing pages and how we're doing the targeting. And so it can take a bit of time. And so what I'd always recommend having is at least a 90-day window to run any sort of YouTube ad campaign so that you can keep in mind the iterations, the refilming, the testing. And of course, with changing markets, right now we're going into the spring market, that messaging is going to be different than when we're at the end of the year or during the summertime or different demographics and areas. So always keep that in mind. And last but not least, I will always be preaching this, but remember that the hooks, again, the 5 to 10-second intros are the 80-20 to success with your ads and your videos. If you get people invested for the first few seconds, then you are golden. That video is going to perform really well. And so really keep that in mind. Again, use the power of AI and the tools that I mentioned in this video to script out an initial set of videos and then create variations. Expect to have some experimentation, right? You want to fail quickly, get up fast, iterate, change until you find a winning set of campaigns. And then you're going to be able to get really consistent listing appointments for you and your team. Now, if you are a team, lead, brokerage, boutique brokerage looking to scale and also save the time of having to do all this testing and iterating and rather just follow the proven process and partner up with a company that's on the cutting edge of that and always looking to make the next move in terms of which scripting is going to work best, then click on the first link in the description. And I would love to have a quick conversation with you to talk about your goals and how we can scale up you and your team. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.